Happy New Year sis, and welcome back to another video. We need to get our game up to par this year, and we are going to learn everything we need to learn about makeup. I made sure to use very affordable products to show you guys how to get a step-by-step makeup routine. So I showed you guys how to achieve this very simple everyday full face makeup. So I went step by step. So if you are interested, I encourage you to keep watching. Alright, we are going to start with a clean skin. Make sure you cleanse the skin deeply and thoroughly. Even if you are just coming out from the shower, make sure you still go ahead and do this. The first thing I'm going to be starting with is my moisturizer. If you have some kind of special skincare routine that you use your skincare routine, but don't go too extra with the product because it can make a difference with how your makeup sits throughout the day. So I'm just going to apply my moisturizer. So the moisturizer I'm going to be using today is the MS Metics Moisture Bomb. Actually, there's another one called the Moisture Potion, but I prefer using this because it is water-based. Water-based moisturizers are good for oily skin. So once you find out your own skin type, make sure you apply your skin prep accordingly. If you don't know your skin type, don't worry, I'm going to make a video on how to know your skin type soon, so watch out for the video. I have an oily skin, so this moisturizer is a go-to for oily skin. So I'm going to be using this flat brush to apply the moisturizer. You can also use your hands, but I actually enjoy using this flat brush to evenly spread out the product on my face. Make sure you apply the moisturizer all over the face. You can pour it at the back of your hand, and you can also use a makeup pan. So I'm going to be using a makeup pan. Then you apply the moisturizer all over the face. Make sure you spread out evenly. Make sure it gets to all corners of your face. All corners of your face. Then you use a fan to dry the moisturizer for the skin to take in all the nutrients. I'm going to use the remaining moisturizer. If you just go back apply it underneath the eyes, one product to the other, you notice that the product will not work for the purpose. They will just be on the layer of the skin. So you need to use your fan to enable the product to sink into the skin, so that when you apply your concealer, it won't dry too quickly. Then we move on to the next step, which is our primer. You should definitely have a primer in your makeup kit. You might be wondering what's a primer. A primer acts as a base to create a soothing effect that enhances makeup coverage and helps your makeup stay on longer. This is going to act as a barrier between your face and the makeup. You don't want to go directly on your skin with makeup. It is just going to be causing wrinkles, fine lines, and it's going to seep into your skin. Primers are of two types. We have the hydrating primers and the mattifying primers. If you have an oily skin, you should definitely use a primer that is mattifying. It is going to control the oil on your face and make sure you are not getting oily throughout the day. If you have a dry skin, you should use a hydrating primer. This is going to make your skin stay hydrated. So the primer I'm going to be using today is the Aqua Grip Radiant Finish Primer. This is a hydrating primer, and there are so many things I love about this primer. It doesn't take time to dry and sink into the skin. Even while you are still applying it, it starts to get tacky immediately. You start to see the radiance immediately, and it grips foundation. It grips the foundation that you apply on the face, just as the name implies, Aqua Grip. So I'm going to put like 2 pumps into the pan. You need to really focus on your T-zones. So if you want to start applying the primer, start from the middle of your face, because that is where really needs the primer. Start from the middle of your face. If you noticed, I left out the under eye because I want the under eye to maintain moisture. I want it to maintain that moisture alone. However, nothing bad would happen to your makeup if you apply primer underneath the eye. I just don't want to apply too many products underneath the eye. Then you make sure you dry out the primer with your fan. Then I'll be using the Adventure Primer. This is an oil control primer and is used for oily skin. You don't really need to use too much, a little is okay. So I'll be applying this on my T-zone areas. The T-zones are the forehead, underneath the eye, the bridge of the nose, the cupid bone and the chin. I'll also apply it to my brows for longevity because when I sweat, I don't want the brows to clean off. Now we are going to move on to the next step, which is foundation. What is a foundation? A foundation is what is going to bring your skin to one even complexion and really even out your skin. A foundation is used to conceal dark marks, acne marks, discoloration, hyperpigmentation, things you don't want on your skin. I do have on my channel a video on how to choose the right foundation match for your skin tone and undertone. This is the #1 video that you need to watch if you struggle with choosing a foundation. And if you haven't checked that out, I will leave it on the cards above for you to check out. Knowing your skin type, skin tone and undertone is my #1 tip. So for today, I'm going to be using the Silvermark foundation in Black Coffee and Butternut. A mixture of these two shades give me my perfect match. So if you want to make sure your foundation matches with your body, make sure you match the foundation to the body and not to the face in order to achieve a skin-like result. I like to be careful with how much foundation I'm putting on my skin, so I avoid putting it directly on my skin from the bottle. Instead, I put it on a makeup pan or on the back of my hand. So make sure you do either of the two to control how much product you are putting on your face. So I'm just going to put a little in the pan because less is more. But you can always build up your foundation if you want. When it comes to applying foundation, you can either make use of a brush or a beauty blender. I have both here to show you. If you want to make use of a brush, make sure you use something dense that is easy to blend out and fluffy. Something dense that is easy to blend out. A dense brush helps to get a flawless base and even base. If you are using a beauty blender, use a beauty blender that is damp, that is not too dry and not too wet. Also use a beauty blender that is soft to easily blend out the foundation. So I'm going to use both to show you guys how to use both tools, one for each side. So I'm just going to dip the brush into the foundation and then dab on my face. You dab, do not drag or swipe so you won't move the product on your face. So just dab it into the skin and you can see what it gave me. This is what it is going to give you if you do not swipe, do not drag, do not move products around the face. You should also make sure you do not put foundation underneath the eyes. As you can see that I didn't go underneath the eyes and add foundation because this place is reserved for my concealer. I don't want to apply too many products under the eyes. You guys can see that there is no difference between the foundation tone and my tone. This is what I mean by blending and matching the foundation to your body, not to your face. If you should notice, my face is a bit lighter than my body. My body is darker than my face. So if it is that I match the foundation to my face, I will be getting the whole process wrong. This is what I mean by matching the foundation to your body, not to your face. So for the beauty blender, just make sure you dab the beauty blender into the product and then you blend. Also, do not drag, just pat the foundation on the skin, do not drag. And you can see I'm not packing product on my face. I'm blending it out before taking another. And I'm going to apply on my forehead. You apply on the nose. The nose does not really need too much foundation. I'll just go in with whatever is left on my beauty blender and just pat pat pat. So now we have our base. You can see what I mean by matching the foundation to your body and not to your face. You can see how it gives us an even complexion. So make sure you choose a foundation that matches your skin tone, your exact skin tone. So now we are going to move on to the concealer. What is a concealer? A concealer is used to conceal any dark spots on your face in little areas. Concealer is also used under the eye if you have dark circles or eye bags underneath your eye. Concealer is going to help you cover it and make it smooth and also give you an even skin tone. You can use concealer before foundation if you have acne or spots on your face to cover them, and you can also use it after foundation, just like we are about to do. Concealer is also used to highlight. You can use 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone to brighten up some parts of your face. So I'll be using the Adventure Concealer. This is what I mean by 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone. This is my perfect shade, and this is 2 to 3 shades lighter than my skin tone. So this is what I mean. I hope you understand. The areas you should highlight are your forehead, underneath the eyes, the bridge of the nose, the cupid bone, the chin. These are your T-zones area. So to apply concealer, you can use either a brush or a beauty blender, but I would advise you use a beauty blender as a beginner. I would advise you use a beauty blender because it is fast and it is not going to mess everything up for you. So I'm going to work in sections. Let's conceal the under eye first. So to blend the concealer, you pinch the beauty blender, then you use this place to blend the concealer. Start blending from the edges, as you can see me do. Start blending it from the edges, as you can see me do. And you have to be very, very light-handed with this. Don't drag, don't sweep products. In all makeup application, do not sweep products. Do not drag. You can see the way I'm pinching it. Pinching it allows you to be able to blend the inner corner of the eye perfectly. And you can see the way I'm spreading out the product evenly. Do not over blend by blending one side and not moving at all. You blend and you move your hands. You can see the way I'm blending it, moving my hands. I'm not just staying one side and just patting one side. You can see the difference between the two. This is how you should blend your concealer. Let's blend the other side too. So make sure you blend seamlessly. We shouldn't be seeing where the concealer stops and where the foundation starts. That is what I mean by harsh lines. As you can see, the concealer is seamlessly blended into the foundation. So let's highlight the other areas. The forehead, the middle of the nose, so when blending the forehead, make sure you do not pass this place. As you can see, the place my red light is hitting, do not pass this place. Do not go further than this place. Actually, I don't really like applying concealer on my forehead, but I apply it because of the sake of this video, to show you guys how to do it. I actually don't like brightening my forehead. I don't like it. So after blending it, if you notice that the product is too much and it's spreading to other parts, just use this bottom to dab 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 and blend out the harsh lines. Do not rush and blend this out. So to blend the nose, just make sure you go straight. Do not apply the product here or here. Make sure your hand is straight. Just make sure you blend it out straight. Give it a straight line. So you can see it's actually not really showing that I even applied concealer because I've blended it well. So this is how you should blend your concealer. So now we are going to move to the next step, which is contour. What is contour? Contour is going to bring back shadows to the skin. When we are talking about contour, we are talking about the perimeters of the face. That is the areas that light does not hit. And these areas include the forehead, the cheekbone, the jawline, the sides of the nose. These are the areas you contour. You can use a foundation that is 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone, or a concealer that is 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. So I'm going to be using a foundation that is 2 to 3 shades darker than my skin tone. So the foundation that I'm going to be using today is the V Beauty foundation in V Java. Sorry, I've used the hell out of this foundation. So this is the foundation I'm going to be using for my contour. So contour is applied underneath the cheekbone, and you can apply it with a flat brush like this. You draw a straight line from your ear like this downwards to this place. It's okay. From your ear like this downwards to this place. Make sure you are not packing too much product on the skin. For the jawline, we are going to use the bottom of our beauty blender to blend this out. And you just dab while blending. As you can see, I'm not dragging. Do not drag. For the nose contour, use a brush like this. For the nose contour, something soft that won't drag product on the skin. So to apply the contour on the nose, you start from the brows, the beginning of the brows here, all the way down, and make sure you do not pack product so that you won't struggle to blend it out. Just draw a line from the beginning of your brows all the way down, as you can see, all the way down. I'm going to do the same on the other side, all the way down. The next thing we are going to do is to clean all the product on the brush with our hand. Then you go over it again with the same brush. After you are done with that, you go over it with your beauty blender. And that is that about nose contour. Then we move on to setting powder. What is a setting powder used for? Setting powder is used to set the areas we just highlighted. Setting powder helps to keep the concealer in place to avoid creasing, and we do this with our setting powder, also known as loose powder. Setting powder helps to set the concealer in place. We have different shades of setting powder. And the setting powder I'm going to be using today is the Beauty by AD setting powder in the shade Lucent. You can also use the setting powder of your shade to set shaking off the excess from the setting powder helps to achieve this smooth finish. To apply setting powder on my face. To apply setting powder, we are going to use our beauty blender, and then you dip the beauty blender into the setting powder. As you can see, this is a lot of product to just apply on the skin. So what we are going to do is to shake it off. Then you spread. You can see how it looks. Then you go again and you shake it off. You spread immediately. And while applying, make sure you press it into the skin. Press the setting powder into the skin. Press the setting powder into the skin to achieve that skin-like finish. So let's go ahead to set the other areas. Though these other areas does not really need much setting powder like the under eye. For the nose, you pinch it. You see, you pinch it, and then you'll be able to apply it on a straight line. Then we move to the next step, which is to apply powder on the face. You should use a powder that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone for the highlighted areas. And then use a shade that is your exact match, your exact shade for the rest of the face. So the powder I'm going to be using today is the Flawless UV powder. And I'm going to be using this shade right here for the rest of my face, while I'll be using this shade for the highlighted areas. You need to apply powder on the setting powder to build more coverage. You can't just leave the setting powder alone on the skin. You need to apply powder to build more coverage. To apply powder on the highlighted areas, you should use your beauty blender. You can also use a brush, anyone is fine, but I'm going to use my beauty blender. To apply powder on the highlighted areas, you can use your beauty blender, and you can also use a brush, but I'm going to be using my beauty blender to apply this. I just feel like using a beauty blender to apply anything I want to apply underneath my eyes gives me a smooth finish. That is just my preference though. Just tell me what works for you or what you've been using in the comment section. I just feel like a beauty blender does it better for me. So you can see I'm just patting it under the eye, not dragging. I told you, do not drag in any step in makeup application. Go over it as many times as you want. Go over it as many times as you want. I'm going to set the rest of the highlighted areas also. Then I'm going to apply powder all over the face with a fluffy brush. A brush like this. This is what you should use to apply powder all over the rest of the face. Yes, this is the results. Actually, camera is not doing justice to this look. What you are seeing on camera is not what I'm seeing here. So now we are going to move on to the next step, which is to draw our brows. So I've shaped my brows off camera before starting my makeup, but if you want me to make a video on how to shape the brows, let me know in the comment section and I'll definitely make one. So I'll be using a eyebrow pencil to draw my brows, and this is the eyebrow pencil I'm going to be using, the Davis eyebrow pencil in the shade color 3. So this is what I'm going to be using to draw my brows. So make sure you pay close attention to this part, because this is where it gets trickish. This is where your brows should start from, like the sides of the nose. This is where your brow should start from, and this is where it should end. This is where your arc should be. Though I know that we have different shapes of brows, my shape is different from your shape, I know that, but this is what you should use to measure your own brows too. When you apply these things, you'll be able to draw your own brows. So this is where your brow should end, this is where your arc should be, and this is where your brow should start from. So let's draw our brows. You want to make sure you use a spoolie to brush up the hair. Brush them up like this. Make sure the pencil is sharp, and then you just trace your hair. Trace the shape of your brows. That is what we are doing. Trace the shape of your brows. Don't just go ahead to draw your own. No, this is the shape of my brows, you can see, and that is what I followed. When you want to draw this line at the top, make sure you're not going above where your hair starts from. Make sure you start exactly at the place where your hair starts from. Then we go ahead to fill the brows. When filling the brows, you fill it in hair-like strokes. Make sure your pencil is sharp, and then you fill. Don't just paint the brows, fill it up in hair-like strokes, as you can see me do. Then we are going to highlight the brows. Highlighting the brows is where we trace what we've just drawn and make some corrections to them. So if you find it hard to just draw your brows, make sure you replay this video over and over again and go back and forth in order to get your brows done and perfect it well. So we are going to be using this flat brush. As you can see, it is very, very flat. We are going to be using this flat brush to highlight our brows. To highlight the brows, I don't like using something too light to highlight the brows. This is the concealer I used to highlight the face. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that concealer and mix it with the rest of the foundation that is left on my pan. This is a natural brows. I made it look as natural as possible. The next thing I'm going to apply is to apply powder on top of the brows, on top of the areas we highlighted. So I'm going to be using this shade, which is my perfect shade, on top of the brows, because I don't want something too light on the brows. I don't want something too light on my forehead. So I'm going to use this to set the concealer and the foundation I used in highlighting in place. And you raise your brows like this to apply it underneath the eyes. This is the result so far. Now we are going to move to the next step, which is the eyeshadow. For the eyeshadow, I'm just going to keep it very simple and beginner friendly. So I'm going to be using this shade that I use in highlighting the face as a base for the eyeshadow. Here. Just blend it on the eyelid. I'm going to be using this palette right here, the Naughty Ever Beauty palette, for the eyeshadow. For the eyeshadow, we are just going to be keeping it simple and beginner friendly. I'm going to be using this brush right here to apply the eyeshadow. This is a fluffy brush and it is very, very soft, so you should use this kind of brush to apply eyeshadow. So I'm going to be using this brown shade right here, and then you blend in circles. I'm only going to blend the outer corner, and as you can see, I didn't take too much product. I just took small product. Make sure you finish using the product on the brush before taking another one. Blend in circles. You can. Guys, my camera stopped recording. I've just been talking for more than 30 minutes not knowing my camera was not recording. I'm just so angry right now. God. The place it stopped was where I was applying eyeshadow, and after the eyeshadow I did my gel liner. I used the Cara gel liner and I applied it under the eyes and on the upper part of the eye. So after that, I applied powder on the face, used my mascara, and then applied blush. Where is blush applied? Blush is applied on the cheekbone. I used the CPD as my dry blush. I didn't use a cream blush because this is a beginner video and I just want to teach you guys the basic steps and not complicate things. So I use the CPD blush as my dry blush, and I use this pink shade here with this purple shade and mix it together to get my blush. And blush is applied on top of the cheekbone, which is where I applied it. And whatever you do here, you do it on the other side. So after that, I moved on to the lipstick. I used the Posh and Sassy lip palette. This palette right there is what I used for my lipstick, and I used the brown shade, this brown shade, the darkest brown on the palette, and this dark shade to line my lips because I love giving my lips depth. I'm a dark skin girl, so I want something that is going to bring out my face, something darker. If you want to line your lips, you need to use a shade that is 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. And then I used the nude shade and I mixed this for the inner part of the lip. So the rest of the things I did is pretty much easy, but I'm going to make a video showing you guys how I did everything. I'm so sorry guys, please. This is a very lengthy video but detailed video. It is lengthy because we went through everything we needed to complete a basic look. So this is a natural full face makeup, and all the products I use are pretty much affordable. They are all drugstore products, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know guys if you would like to see more detailed videos like this, more detailed beginners videos like this. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see more of them, and I'll make sure to drop more of them. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'm so grateful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.